Welcome back to the kitchen. It's WT Fit update time. This is the third video in the series, week 2 update. In this video, I want to tell you how my week was this past week, give you some numbers as far as how I'm doing with weight loss and that kind of thing. And I thought we'd go into this week what I'm eating, so my eating plan moving forward with my life. But first, a few things. I hit a goal this week. Wednesday, 9:15 p.m. I made it up the hill without stopping. Goal 1, done. I'll give you some updates as far as measurements from this morning. So as a reminder, I started out at 252.2 pounds. Not proud of that. Today, 2 weeks later, I weighed in at 240.2 pounds. That's 12 pounds of weight loss in 2 weeks. Last week, you might say that's a lot, that's not very healthy. I agree with you. I dropped a ton of weight in the first week. I dropped like 9 pounds in the first week, a little bit over 9 pounds. A lot of that I attribute to getting rid of a bunch of water weight. So I also measure sort of around my stomach, sort of the largest part of around my stomach. July the 20th, I measured at 46.75 inches. This morning, 45.5 inches, so 1 1/4 inch of loss there. As far as how I did this week, I exercised less than last week. I went for 2 runs this week in my neighborhood. The first run on Monday, the second run on Wednesday, both of them about 2 miles. As far as how I ate, and we're gonna get into food here in just a bit, I did not eat quite as clean as the first week. The first week was like super clean. I didn't even have like a piece of bread or anything like that. So this week I didn't have any cheat meal type of a situation. Like I didn't go to McDonald's or fast food or, pig out restaurant food. Or I had a piece of bread yesterday, for example, with some butter on it, which is not a huge cheat, but it's not like ultra strict either. But overall, I did really well as far as how I ate. Okay, so let's talk about food. This is my philosophy. This is not a diet that I want to be on for a little while and then go off of. This is how I want to eat for the rest of my life. And if you're in this thing with me, trying to make a change in your life, that's how you should approach this. You should not approach this as a temporary thing to get to a certain point, then you go back to whatever you want to do. This should be a lifestyle. At least that's what I want for myself. And there are many philosophies on how to eat. You can be vegetarian, vegan, you can go on the carnivore diet, all this kind of stuff. But this is what I'm going to do. I have always gravitated toward like the paleo kind of a diet where it is, and many people mislabel what paleo is. If you're not familiar with it, you can look it up. You'll be reading for days and days and days if you want to go down that rabbit hole. But basically what it is fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, oils, that kind of thing. Basically nothing processed is the idea. The idea is you would eat what a caveman in the paleo era would have eaten, would have had access to. Because a lot of the nasty stuff that we put in our bodies comes from all this processed stuff that we do. Sugar, for one. But for the paleo thing, it's basically like, if you want to be strict with paleo, there's no bread of any kind, no pasta, nothing like that. Another thing that a stigma people have with the paleo diet, it's just like you just eat all this steak and bacon and meat and all this stuff. If you do it in a healthy way, you get a lot of really different, very healthy foods in your diet. So let's go through like a typical day of eating. For me, you're gonna see that it's not like really strict paleo after all, but this is sort of where I've landed. Another note before we get into the daily eating thing, I am of the opinion that most people eat kind of the same stuff all the time. So if you see this and you're like, he eats the same thing every day, or he's planning to eat the same thing every day, if you really think about it, a lot of people eat the same thing every day. It's just we eat the same of a lot of bad things every day. If you go to McDonald's, you get the same thing, and you go to eat fast food, you get like a burger and fries. And how often if you do that 3 or 4 times a week, you're eating the same thing all the time. It's just not at all good for you. So I'm trying to, replace all the junk that I would eat regularly all the time with healthy things that I like to eat. So these are things that I enjoy eating. I make them in a way where they taste good to me. So breakfast, eggs, almost always eggs for breakfast, and then a piece of fruit, or maybe some bacon, but I don't want to do bacon that often. I love the way it tastes, but everyone knows the bacon is not that good for you. But it does sort of fall in the paleo thing, if you will. So anyway, this is what I had for breakfast today. Okay, so moving on to lunch. I'm not gonna make a short movie out of every meal that I eat because that would be boring. Who wants to see that? But I usually do like one meal replacement shake kind of a thing per day. In the past, I've used stuff like this. Labrada makes these ready to drink things as well. They're okay. Or, you know, I'd use some protein powder like this Optimum Nutrition stuff that I've had in my pantry for I don't know how long, maybe over a year. Not gonna eat this anymore, because who knows if it's any good anymore. But you know, I'll just make a shake out of this, maybe throw some peanut butter in it with milk or something like that. Whey protein is not that great tasting in my opinion. So here's a little mini review of something that I've been trying lately. I got some cachava. So if you've seen one of their ads on anywhere on social media, they will, you know, then bombard you everywhere. So I fell prey to the marketing. It's like a superfood smoothie kind of a thing. The chocolate is really good. It's not the cheapest stuff out there, but I wanted to give it a shot. I got the chocolate and the vanilla. The chocolate tastes pretty good. And you can look it up on their website. They've got all kinds. This is not an advertised, you know, sponsored thing from them. It's got all kinds of nutrients, ingredients, plant-based stuff. But this stuff is pretty good. I think I'm gonna get some more of it eventually, but usually I have like one of these a day. It says to make this with water, but I use milk and water just to get a little more calorie content in. It's just 240 calories per serving for this stuff. But yeah, so one meal a day, I'll do like a protein shake of some kind. And then for dinner, I will typically make some kind of a protein, whether that's chicken. You can go with like a steak. I enjoy grilling a steak every once in a while. I like to grill, so pretty much a grilled meat of some kind. An easy way to go is if you just go to the grocery store and get like a rotisserie chicken. That'll last you at least a few days. I do that a lot too. But anyway, some kind of a vegetable or some sort of a protein. And then on the side, I will have either vegetables. And my go-to for vegetables, I love squash and zucchini. I love asparagus. I like mixed vegetables that you can get in the freezer section at the grocery store. So I'll either go with protein and vegetable or protein and like some kind of a potato. And I just get the stuff that's, you know, shrink wrapped that you throw in the microwave for a little while and it's done. And you've got a baked potato, sweet potatoes or, you know, regular white potatoes, either way. I also try and eat a few snacks throughout the day because just those 3 meals is not enough calorie-wise to sustain a person, especially if you're active. So throughout the day, I will eat snacks, and snacks would be anything. I like to get almonds, or nuts are a great snack if you want to follow this sort of an eating lifestyle, and then maybe some fruit like an apple or a banana or something, or vegetables to snack on like carrots, that kind of thing. So a couple snacks throughout the day. So that's what I'm doing for food. Let me know what you're doing for food and how it's going for you. This thing is going well for me so far, but it's only 2 weeks in, and typically for me when I do something like this, at the 2-week point, I'm usually doing pretty good. It's at week 3, 4, and 5 where I go off the rails. So hopefully this whole thing that we're doing together will be something that'll help keep me accountable, keep me and you, us together on track. I'm gonna leave you with some thoughts that I had after the run that I went on Monday. Often when I run, I get a little introspective. You know, the endorphins get going. You kind of start thinking deep about things. Anyway, here you go. So it's Monday, 11 p.m. I just finished a 2-mile run at an
record-breaking, earth-shattering 13-minute mile pace, I'm going to start a series called a post-run devotional. I was listening to this playlist I have on my phone that I don't listen to much called Stuff I'm Into Lately. And the song came on that I love, that I don't hear often, called Falling Slowly by Glenn Hansard. And it's a love song, so I'm taking this out of context. I know this isn't theologically accurate, but I just felt it in my spirit. And I hope to write lyrics this good one day, but the pre-chorus, second pre-chorus into the chorus says, "You have suffered enough and warred with yourself. It's time that you won." And then the chorus goes, "Take this sinking boat and point it home. We've still got time. Raise your hopeful voice. You have a choice. You'll make it now." And I just felt like that was sort of the heart of God speaking to the church right now in America. We've suffered enough. We've warred with ourselves. It's time that we won. Take the sinking boat. How theologically accurate is it to say that the church is a sinking boat? Because Jesus himself said, the gates of hell will not overcome it. But sometimes it feels that way, right? Take the sinking boat, point it home. We've still got time. Raise your hopeful voice. You have a choice. You'll make it now. When I run, especially when I'm out of shape, I feel like I'm in a great deal of pain. So, I don't know. I get emotional. I feel things at a deeper level when I'm in the middle of a run. And I come up with, I don't know, I just have thoughts like that. Post-run devotional. There you go.